Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into round number 12 of the Ride365.com Nationals, powered by Versus PC in MX Simulator. My name is Kellen Brauer, live here on Start Your Systems TV, joined by the one, the only, Chris Riesenberg. What's up tonight, checkers?
Guess who's back again. That's right. We've been waiting for the number 7 to return all year, and no, I am not talking about James Stewart. Unfortunately, he is still missing. But Alexis Straight Air Leclerc has returned to racing action to try to hold on to his number here at the final round of Race Factory Gaming action, and he's been in a heated, intense qualifying battle with our champion, three-time champion Jesse Mullins this week for the top spot. Mullins edged him out in qualifying, but who will win the motos? We're about to find out. From Indiana, it's going to be sick.
Yeah, and
I'm a little excited, huh?
Yeah, throwing some fire on the fuel a little bit about this whole Leclerc coming back. Mullins is here, Fresquez. We would like to have Hunter Root out there.
Who?
However, we just saw on the forums this week kind of a debate, dispute, whatever you want, about who was the, quote, fastest rider in the game after Hunter Root came back last week and won the Budds Creek National on a 450. He hadn't raced all year long, shows up out of the blue, wins the race, and that's that. Now we have Leclerc back. And we saw in the forums numerous times this week people saying, at least in their opinion, that Leclerc was the fastest outright rider on his day. When he had all of his speed and whatever you want to call it, he was the best guy out there. So it kind of fueled the fire a little bit. Certainly going to make things a little bit more interesting tonight to watch. And just before we get into this moto, Chris, would you like to give us your moto option keys to the race and also a Versus PC one to watch in this one?
All right. Well, key to the race number 1 is going to be don't straight air the jumps. Throw big scrubber doodles. Number 2, you're going to be don't slide out. A lot of bumpiness, choppiness, jaggedness in the ruts. Don't slide her down. And number 3, it's got to be get a good start. Especially if you're starting, you need to start in front of Leclerc or Mullins, because they're going to be the guys to beat. And Tyson Fresquez can't leave Tyson out of this thing. And VersusPC.com one to watch. We're going to be watching pretty far in the back of the pack is going to be my guess. But we got to give some love for Higgs. Logan Higney, the host of the pros all season long, has been absolutely crushing it. So we'll see if he can crush it on the racetrack here at the last round. Maybe even score himself a point. But a big shout out to Higgs for hosting week in and week out all the awesome racing action here in MX Simulator. Race Factory Gaming. It's the Ride365.com Nationals, powered by VersusPC.com.
Heck yeah, here we go. The long-awaited return of Alexis Leclerc to the 450 Nationals is about to commence. Let's go racing at Indiana.
And the gate's down. There's riders falling everywhere. Huge hole shot. System decals. Brady Stanley into the lead. James Armstrong. And that's Fjellberg up in the 3 spot. The whips are about to get dirty. But guess who's following him? It's his old rival from the European circuit. Alexis Leclerc rides in the 4 spot. There's Mullins right there behind Leclerc. James Armstrong's hit the deck early.
Yeah, I think Fresquez also went down in that first lap scrum. He is dead last coming through the time sheets the first time. And all of his competition is up front. Oh, Stanley, did you see that? He was upside down throwing Oppo whips. I love this combo at the front right now. Stanley going to try to hold off 3 of the best riders of all time behind him as Fjellberg goes down. Deck. Yeah.
Matt Burkeen also up in the mix, right in behind Jesse Mullins, who just cut
off the man! Leclerc might still get the spot. Yeah, he's going to push him wide and get back into second. I can't believe Leclerc is able to hold on to that. He thread the needle.
Now, personally, I haven't talked to Jesse about this, but I'm guessing he was a little fired up because I don't think he really put a lot of work into last week. He's just kind of been milking as our leader. Stanley's down.
So here we go, the battle we wanted.
Yes, absolutely. But I don't think Mullins really cared about anything besides that. I'm just kind of milking the championship in. I'm going to do my normal kind of late season laps, get a decent ride. And then all the crap talking with Hunter and all that, I think fired him up knowing Leclerc was coming back this week to say, I'm not going to let that happen again. Or if Root shows up again, I'm going to be a little more prepared. because he went back to kind of his early season where he was out qualifying everyone by quite a ways, with the exception of Leclerc, who was right there with him on lap times.
Oh, Mullins slides
Mistake
it
from
down.
Mullins,
But yeah,
I expect these two to check out from the field. Burkeen now all over the back door of Mullins, but Mullins riding for team I identify as a bridge. I don't believe is going to have to worry about anyone behind him. He's only worried about the rider right in front of him. And
oh
Leclerc
wait,
is down.
yeah, Leclerc down off the side of the track. I saw a little speck, and
He's
Mullins
hiding
went to the
behind the
lead.
banners.
Yeah. So that kind of changes things because Leclerc, obviously fastest in qualifying, might have the speed to catch Mullins, and has to do the chasing now. So this really changes everything up. And to just kind of hit real quick on why Leclerc is even here tonight, I don't think he's here at all because of what happened on the forums this week. My guess,
No.
and your guess probably would be too, that he's just here trying to save his number 7 career number.
No, it's not even a guess. That's exactly what he asked when he said, "Can I get approved for a membership?" Is I would want to come back and race. I just want to make sure it'll be improved in time because I want to keep my number 7. So
Right.
100% from him. That's why he's here to race. But dang it, I'm glad to have him back.
Oh yeah,
Because he makes things exciting. And I mean, we're talking about it. We're talking about exciting. Austin Eklund is
Holy
riding in the
cow.
number 2 spot, and it looks like he's been training with Leclerc with that boner.
No kidding.
On the uphill triple.
I switched back to
insane.
him, and I don't have his skins. I don't have Leclerc skins either. I'm like, I thought it was Leclerc for a second. I was like, who are you talking about? That's not Eklund, it's Leclerc.
Austin Eklund is sending her to the moon, and he slides out. But Matt Burkeen going to go around Leclerc as well. Shuts the door,
Whoa.
taking him all the way to the bales.
Wow, no love lost for Leclerc in this class. People still not too fond of the Frenchman.
Perhaps not. Maybe they're not as excited as I am to have him back. As the 2017 Loretta Lynn's Beer Tent champ, Matt Burkeen goes up into the number 2 ride.
Wow, did you see Leclerc there? He pretty much just tripled those
Oh, he
rollers.
doubles up those
Whoa,
rollers
whoa,
right into
whoa.
Burkeen, puts them both down. Well, if there was love left before, there's definitely none now.
Yeah, that.
Dennis Fjellberg has lots of love because he's like, I'll go into that 2 spot.
Wow, Leclerc lost so many positions right there. He's back to like 10th or so.
Still finding him. Yeah, he is in 10th spot now. Following Jack Haley, who's had a great season. Jared Seidhoff, William St. Laurent, Tyler Morin got a good ride going. This is his first race of the year as well.
Yeah, nice to see some unfamiliar faces up here as Eklund dumps it, and Burkeen also hit him and went down.
Looking back through the field, I'm just going to try to get an update. Tyson Fresca is up to the 22 spot right now.
Wow, that's a good turnaround so far.
I mean, the guys are pretty grouped together outside of the top 10. But at the front, getting away right now is Jesse Mullins. Fjellberg slotted into the 2 spot, and I don't think either of us saw Chase Blakely's found himself up into the 3 spot. He's been on a hot streak here late in the season.
Right. He's won 2 overalls this year, and you almost wouldn't know it.
3, right? He won 2 back-to-back as well.
Oh,
as
yeah,
one earlier
right,
in the year.
3. I forgot about that early one that he won.
Holy crap, I just out-statistician the statistician.
Yeah,
I'm impressed.
you got me. My bad.
Last race of the year, Kevin can't hold anything back now.
Hey, so haven't we protested Side Hop before for incorrect naming or whatever? Incorrect
I mean,
numbers?
I don't know if he's actually gotten protested for it. I mean, he's definitely done it more than a few times.
Yeah. Well, Seidhoff is number 17, not number 22 or number 1, as his bike or jersey would suggest. But he's running up here, so, I mean, good ride for him. It'd just be nice to see the real Seidhoff. Leclerc giving chase to St. Laurent is that Blakely right behind him? No, that's for Zaka. And then Devin Davis sending it into this group. Of course, Davis would like to say that he beat the, quote, fastest rider on any day on the track. Adam Holm, Matt Burkeen. This is a good little group right here. Like you said, they're all kind of bunched together except for Mullins leading.
Holm versus Davis. Holm trying to go down the inside. Davis just going to go around the outside.
Yeah.
Holm with the mistake, and Davis going to keep the spot. Try to go after Kevin from Zaka. Leclerc not really able to remount the charge after those fall-offs.
Maybe trying to settle down, get into a groove, perhaps. At this point, it's looking unlikely he's going to do any battling with Mullins, but he'd still like to salvage something inside of the top 5, maybe a third or so. Needs 25 points to hold his numbers, so we were talking about that whole scenario. Just needs 25 points from the 2 motos today. He could do it with winning the 1 moto, but he gets a 2nd and a 18th, and he still does it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like unless disaster strikes, he should definitely be able to pull it off. I mean, that's basically 2 top 10 finishes, right?
Right.
Or 2 ninths, I think, right?
Like
that? Eighths?
Yes. 2 ninths would be 13 points, yeah, so. Yep.
Damn, I'm on it tonight. Patting myself on the back right here. Hope I don't get an arm injury.
Yeah. Well, Leclerc did get around St. Laurent. He's got Haley next. So kind of resetting things for a moment. It's Mullins from Fjellberg. Blakely not too far behind Fjeld either, but then Seidhoff is probably the closest to a battle inside of the top 5 as he's right on Blakely. Haley,
For sure. I keep flipping back to Mullins at the front, and every time I see him, he's just looking like perfection and stretching his lead out. And man, he looks a lot like the Mullins that started this championship and absolutely dominated. As Seidhoff's going to go around Blakely there, a mistake from Blakely, Seidhoff right there to pounce, and I think this is his best performance on a 450 thus far this year.
Now, a question I would like to know that, you know, your opinion on this thing. We got Leclerc closing up on Haley, and then he'll get into this mix, maybe pass Blakely as well. And then he gets to Seidhoff, and there's all this Mullins, you know, Root animosity, and then some Leclerc animosity and all this stuff like that. Does Seidhoff rough Leclerc around a little bit, you think, being teammates with Mullins?
I mean, Jesse and Seidhoff, I'm sure, are in the same team speak, and Seidhoff not knowing to have a lot of F's given. Kind of the theme of the Prime Design Graphics team is
right.
Not to care too much. So, yeah, I'm saying it wouldn't surprise me at all if he was maybe a little more aggressive with Alexis Leclerc than he would be your average person. That's for sure.
If I'm gonna get your expert opinion, of course. That's what I was hoping for.
I mean, that's what I would expect, I guess.
Right. Well, good to see that these 450 guys are able to sneak to that inside and still pop this triple. But it seems pretty even between just holding it wicked on the outside or hitting all those big braking bumps down the inside.
Wow, speaking of holding it wicked right now, Leclerc is holding it wicked right to the back wheel of Blakely. He's going to go around the inside of him. See you later.
It definitely looks like Leclerc, and just coming from someone who has raced with him before, he doesn't...
Slides it out.
I can't
Blakely
tell...
gets into him, and he falls down.
I can't tell if it's a product of him going so much faster.
Blakely just disconnected, I'm pretty sure.
No, he's still there.
Oh, he got bounced off the track or something. He just disappeared for a minute.
Yeah, that was weird. Maybe game glitch or something?
Yeah, now you were starting to say that it looks like Leclerc?
Yeah, it just seems like he's going so much faster than everybody that maybe he doesn't realize how quick he's catching some people, but it's always been kind of his forte to ride a little aggressively. We saw the contact with Burkini, and we saw him kind of throw it in there on Blakely just a moment ago. But it definitely looks like Leclerc riding out there, I'll tell you.
Yeah, well, that, and I just watched him doing some bunny hopping off small bumps, over jumps, and some things that are magical that only he can do, really.
Right.
But I think a lot of that has to probably be a product of he's world famous for his hot lapping abilities, which means riding by yourself a lot of times. Especially he hasn't been racing this year, so I don't think he's even been racing EMF, if I'm correct. So
I think a couple races, but yeah, I think you're right.
It's different when you're week in, week out used to racing. You kind of just start to be able to predict it. It's just like real life. If you haven't been on the bike, you just lose a little bit of that instinct of riding around a group of guys, and so maybe that's catching Leclerc a little bit here as well. And definitely, he is wicked fast.
Well, talking about Leclerc and Mullins and all this nonsense, we can't not talk about who is, quote, the greatest rider of all time in this group. And he's struggling right now, but Fresquez, coming from that early crash, has now worked his way into 18th, so some progress, and he's still got almost 20 minutes plus 2 laps to continue making time up.
Yeah,
I'm sure
well, I
he
will
would
say
like to be in that
too,
battle.
with the title being wrapped up, I noticed Tyson wasn't even near those guys in the qualifying times, and that tells me that he's here in racing and going to do the best he can, but he probably, similar to what I said I thought Mullins did last week, he just probably didn't put the time and effort in this week.
Right.
That's needed to do it. Now in sheer talent, come Moto 2, it wouldn't surprise me if he's able to still get up front and a little more time on the track and whatnot. But this isn't the Tyson Fresquez that the best at his best, I guess I will put it that way.
Right. It was certainly something back when Tyson was at the top of his game and Leclerc was still around and we had Root in the mix. There was some seriously good racing going on back in right around 2015.
Don't forget about Mr. Lucky Charms, Brian Down again.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, the most specific race I'm thinking of is Anaheim won 2015 when Leclerc whole shot down and punted him off the track. Fresquez was in there. Heck, I think Fjellberg won the race or something like that.
Dude, Jesse is making a statement right now. Just a huge Oppo whip over Godzilla. 30 seconds out in front. Like I said, I'm pretty sure that he needed a little motivation to really put the work in, and he got it.
Yeah,
he got that motivation.
Just to know where some of this comes from, I remember when we did that SYS poll last year for greatest riders of all time, Jesse was, quite honestly, pretty mad about being ranked the 5th best rider of all time. So I think he's still kind of wanting to prove that he should be higher, not only on that list, but just regarded as not only the greatest rider currently, but one of the greatest riders of all time at this point, having now three-peated the national championship. Really what Jesse's missing in his forte is, supercross consistency, wins, championship battles, a championship itself. Yeah, he's won the EMF SX title, but could argue that that's lesser competition. So
I thought that's where all the real competition was.
You would think sometimes,
I'm just kidding. And I mean, I think part of that is not that he couldn't do it, but he chooses not to do it. I mean, we've talked about it before. That's kind of his break from the end, to be able to come into these outdoors motivated. I do think it would be much more of a challenge for him, as Tyson is definitely a superior supercross racer. Although he's really good outdoors. And also, I think the other thing is I don't believe in asterisks by championships, but people put them beside Mullins' championships at times because of issues that Root has had, mainly being his kind of main competitor outdoors, and not even showing up this year, but you got to be in it to win it is the way that I see it, and things happen to everyone. Jesse's had his own issues that he's had to deal with as well.
Right.
But I do believe that gets factored into the equation of people. But
I mean, I would have to agree with them in the sense that at least right now, yes, Supercross isn't his best, but if he were to try, he would do really well at it and certainly be a championship contender. I would argue that Jesse right now is the best rider in this game. And so that's where his point comes from a little bit, is that like he is ascended through all these guys and stuff, but
I know that Fresquez is not having his best race ever, but he's battled Fresquez all summer long for a title, and he's had the upper hand. Yes, it's outdoors, and I would give Tyson the upper hand in Supercross potentially, but look at, well, actually Leclerc was just up to second, and now he's dropped back to 5th once again. Look at the lead that Jesse has right now, 40 seconds. When he puts his mind to it, he's dang tough to beat, and I would have loved to see him really put some effort into the 2017 Supercross season as far as just being around and racing, for the fact that the limited qualifying would probably allow his ability to show through a little bit more versus, you don't have to put the time in nearly as much. You still have to be riding the game a little bit, but not nearly as much.
Agreed. And I mean, not only for the entertainment value of it, but I would like to see Mullins put a full season in Supercross together against Tyson once. I mean, Tyson had his worst year ever in 2014, and that's when Mullins had his best year in Supercross. And since then, we haven't seen the same level or anything like that from him in Supercross. And we've also hit this kind of weird window in Sim that hasn't really ever happened before, where we've gone back-to-back years with the same guys winning championships on both things. Like Fresquez was the only real reliable thing for a long time, and now Mullins is reliable outdoors, and Fresquez is still the guy indoors.
Yeah, and I would say this is the most convincing title that Jesse has won outdoors. Like, he was better this year right away when the series started than he's ever been. He was just phenomenal to start the year, much like this ride right here, where it was like, holy crap, is this guy even going to be beatable?
Exactly.
And Jesse has been doing that today. And again, I believe there's a little more focus put in. I haven't talked to him. I know that this isn't necessarily the style of track that he particularly loves, so I don't think he's just pounding laps out because he just absolutely loves the racetrack. Not saying he doesn't like it, but not really his normal love. So there has to be extra motivation there. He's got the title wrapped up.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
he's showing it.
Him wrapping up that title does put him in the real exclusive club, in that nobody else has done what he's done, which is three-peat a series. Not Tyson. Haskell didn't do it. We're talking all this talk about Leclerc. Leclerc hasn't done it. Nobody's ever three-peated in sim. So that alone puts Mullins in a real rarefied air.
Let's take a quick look back to 37th place, the last active rider on the track. It is our VersusPC.com one to watch, Logan Heagney, riding for Motorsport Hillsboro. Just again, a huge shout out to Logan. Week in and week out, face planting in the dirt here in the 450 class at the back, just to be here to host for everyone. And dude, he doesn't just host RF. He hosts like an event almost every night for a major series. Like, this dude is legit when it comes to hosting sim races.
Yeah, he's really stepped up recently, that's for sure. I remember racing some of his first hosted races back in like 2014, and they were good. Like, no doubt about it, but he's on a whole nother level compared to what he was then, that's for sure.
And quite possibly the most loved host since Sween.
Yeah, but I
don't know. Like, when you mention Higgs in chat, everybody gets pumped. Like, they're like, hello, they're just excited. They're joking.
Right. And he's super nice, but I wonder if part of that is that he is never, like, he's kind of hidden in the shadows when he hosts, Like, he's not out there saying, like, oh, yeah, like, what about this? Da, 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 da. He's always just, like, doing his business, getting it done. Kind of the same with Wheels, and Wheels hasn't had many problems over the years.
Yeah, I think part of what holds Wheels back is everyone knows he has the power to do whatever he wants to do. So if he wants to add someone in or whatnot, change something, that he can. And also that he's not actually sitting there a lot of times when he's hosting.
Exactly.
Has been called a fault.
I was watching the Leclerc-Adam Holm battle there for a minute. It was a good one, and Leclerc dumps it at the top of the hill. Blakely goes back through.
Seidhoff is out of the Moto, by the way. Just an update.
Whoa. Oh, Leclerc gets up sideways and plows into Kevin Frazaka. That's not going to sit well with the stewards. So
now it's getting a little nervous for Leclerc, though. Like you said, it was a 9.9 is kind of what he needs, and he's getting close to that. I'm sure he's figured that out before the race. Like, well, maybe not, because he might have just said, I'm just going to go out and win a moto, and then I don't have to worry about it. He's down again. Here goes Dago Adamo to drop him back to the number 10 spot. It's going to really start to mount the pressure going into the last moto for Leclerc to keep on that number.
Yeah, well, with Mitchell now claiming that 250 title, there's kind of a lot of single digits just suddenly up for grabs. No, down and lost 2 this year. Dupuis going to lose 6. Leclerc might lose 7. So it's kind of, I mean, up until this past round, Root was going to lose 5. So.
Who?
But yeah, suddenly.
Also, speaking of statements, I feel like this is the below Jesse moto, but he's been freaking good. But his lap time's at 1:59, and no one else is under a 2:01.
Wow. And what were they qualifying with? I missed that.
I think a 56 is what they got down to. I actually have it in front of me, I believe. I can load it. I actually have the points in front of me, but I will load the qualifying times. It was a 156.9 for Jesse, 157.5 for Leclerc, and then the next best time was a 1:59. And we talked about Tyson not being in the mix. He was added to a 1 qualifying time way back in 11th. So.
Wow. We got Jordan Moxie checking in the chat right now, fresh out of his 250 moto, asking if we saw his choke. Well, we know Adam Holm, his teammate.
Jordan James Richards Moxie.
His teammate Adam Holm called it Team Arcachoke, referencing Moxie. Yeah, Moxie, you'd have to go back and watch the 250 races. Any of you watching the 450 broadcast right now, I'm not going to spoil it for you.
Adam Holm has found his way quietly up into the 3rd spot.
Yeah,
Great
that's a
outdoor
solid
season
ride
from Adam. Man, what a year he has had. Way cool to see Adam Holm this outdoor season.
We don't have an award for it, but you have to give like the breakout performance of the season to Holm, right? Like, where'd this come from?
Without a doubt. I mean, he didn't just put himself up in the mix for podiums, but he almost had multiple wins on the year. Like, he was in the mix with the best guys, even on their best days. He was there. Now, granted, they had to make mistakes and stuff sometimes for him to get there, but he wasn't making mistakes. He was really, really good. Speaking of making mistakes, Mullins did just crash, but I think the 42-second lead will be safe here.
Unless he has a quadruple fall-off, which we've seen Tyson Fresquez have this year.
We got a sick battle going on for 4th and 5th. It's the BTC Beer Tent champ, Matt Burkeen, versus the Forum champ, Devin Davis. Dicing it out. DX3 versus Taggart Designs, Big Send Official.
Hey, we give Devin a hard time, but this is really a good ride for him. If he can get into 4th here, this is going to be one of his better rides of the year. I mean, he's still got Blakely to deal with, but he's slowly put together a solid moto in this first one here.
And as he posted before the event on the forums, he said a solid season. He had 7th in Supercross points, and I think 7th or 8th here outdoor points. And that's nothing to sneeze at for sure. No, Devin Davis, for year after year, week after week, he's here racing RF. He's dedicated to the series for sure.
Exactly. And 45 is his number this year, but really it doesn't tell the whole story, because up until last year, he was normally like a guy that would get a national number in the 20s. I think he had like 18 or 19 one year or something like that, really low. But then
13, right?
Oh yeah, 13. That's what it was. And then, as you recall, last year suspended for 9 rounds of the series in Supercross, and then that really took a hit in his national number chase. So he'll drop it back down into the teens or the 20s next year for sure at this rate.
I think his goal going into outdoors, I mean, Devin's pretty open with what his goals and expectations and how his racing's going. I think he just wanted to get a podium, if I remember right. I don't think he's gotten that done outdoors.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Oh, getting it done. Burkeen just got it done with a fat whip.
Oh, I missed it. I was watching Devin's whip. Oh, we got a rider down, but that is not for position.
These guys are about 13 seconds off of Adam Holm, who runs in 3rd. But I guess that podium is not completely out for this moto, as Davis has a good ride going, and he had not a good start,
right?
If I recall, or at least was not running well at the end of the first lap.
Yeah, well, we switched back when I think it was Leclerc had crashed with Burkeen, and that's when he started battling with Davis, and they were outside of the top 10.
Oh, Devin's down, so Blakely going to go through. Leclerc's climbed back up to 7th,
Did he just get hit by whoever that is? Whoever that was sent it down the inside.
I don't think so. I was watching him. No, he washed out over the berm all on his own, for sure. The crash.
Yeah, it was just kind of looked a little blatant, whatever that lap rider was doing.
That was Seabolt, so shocker.
Well, Leclerc suddenly thrust back into this. That's not really a battle so much as it's just catching Devin Davis, who's now all alone behind that battle. Not really a whole lot going on here. Talk about Fjellberg in 2nd for just a moment, as actually Holm is slowly reeling him in. I spoke with Fjellberg I believe after Unadilla it was, and he says he's just trying to get a Moto win before the season's over. He just wants to at least win a Moto. And he's been second or third maybe 3 or 4 times since coming back to the series, so he's been awful close, but he just hasn't quite got that win yet.
I mean, this is a winning ride that he's putting on here. It's just, there's this superhuman guy way out in front.
Exactly.
I mean, he's putting in a great ride with everyone else in the mix and reaching that old form for sure.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, we've seen the real highs and lows from Fjellberg in the past. Obviously, a former champion in the 250 class of this series. That would be obviously a high point, but we've also seen the times where he can run up front, have the fastest pace, but also crash 340 times and break 4 controllers in the process. So it's good to see him back, like you said, kind of in old form.
Always a pleasure to have Dennis out there. I mean, he's got the sickest style on the track pretty much week in and week out, that's for sure.
Yep. All right, so Leclerc did get around Devin Davis, so he continues his somewhat forward march up to 6th. Try to find another battle. It looks like Armstrong and Stanley may have just made contact. Armstrong now going in the 9th spot. Stanley gets passed by Dago Adamo, who makes a few mistakes there. And coming with him is Jack Haley. It's all sorts of split up back here. St. Laurent and Morin still going at it. It was a really good ride for Morin, who we've seen almost none of this year.
This is his first race. I just approved a membership for him to race today. So,
and then there you go.
Or I approved it yesterday, but it was this week. So yeah, we haven't seen him all outdoor season. His first race of the year. Nice to see him for the one we run race.
Oh. And as we talk about him, he makes a mistake, but not too bad. Eklund was up front earlier on. Reed Young's back here. The Locomotive's coming through with some Tibber Nipples guy behind him.
Dominic Flo Tiberlino.
Dylan Copeland running Chase Blakely's bike gets around Tiberino. I'm sure Alex Heckman would have liked to end the season a little bit better than where he is now. And then Sanders coming here with Fresquez. So Fresquez has actually gone backwards since we last saw him. So kind of proving your point, Chris, about him really not putting in the time this week. Kind of over it. Season's coming to a close.
I think he's fading like it's 420 right now.
Mm-hmm. All right. Nothing really happening inside of points. Oh, actually, Holm got around Fjellberg. So that's a change. We missed that. Fjellberg must have had a problem, right? Slide out or something. Didn't lose a lot of time, like it was a fall off crash, but did lose the spot kind of suddenly.
Yeah, I'm just kind of peeking through the pack here.
Oh, someone front flipping in front of Fjellberg. That's the 85. Wouldn't that be Andrew Wood?
It would.
And wow, we have 40 guys on the track exactly. Normally when we don't run a consi, it's not exactly 40 guys, but just worked out perfectly tonight.
Yeah, that's been the case a couple of times. One of the rounds I hosted actually had to run manually, and it happened to be exactly 40 guys, which worked out wonderfully. I had to type everyone's UID. It was really freaking sweet.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. Looks like we got a somewhat battle brewing for 5th here. Leclerc closing on Blakely. Oh, rider down in front of them. That was, I think, Charles Gable. Let's go on board with Leclerc for a minute. I want to see how this looks on board, because I think it's going to make us all sick.
All right.
I mean, you would remember, Chris, how gnarly his suspension was when he first started getting really fast. I know he's toned it down from that just a little bit, but it's still pretty awkward.
I think he's actually maybe
everything.
gotten a little. Yeah, it's more the advanced in the rider settings. He runs just this ridiculous preload, bouncy setup on the rider that's real loose. I think the suspension's more quote normal at this point.
Yeah,
but
it's really more the advanced that still is the quirky thing for sure. I mean, he used to run something, wasn't it like 100-0 or something on his advanced?
Yeah, I mean,
like all hundreds, all zeros.
I never actually saw the setup, but you could just watch him and tell that it was odd.
Right. And he also runs a really high gearing too. He's always in like 5th or 4th, just really, bogging out the bike. Someone asked in chat, I think that was Chase Donovan asked, how many points does Leclerc need to keep his numbers? The same rules for AMA. As long as you score 25 points, you get to keep your number, which, I mean, I don't know how this is going to go, but isn't James Stewart really kind of in danger this year?
Yeah, he's supposed to lose it, but, I mean, we'll see.
Because he's already used up his, I was out for a specific reason once, like had to miss a whole year because of
does he really care? I mean, I don't, if he hasn't come back, I mean, do you really think he's coming back? I mean, it's unfortunate.
It is slowly turning into no, like it was like, yeah, and then it's like, and then it's like, nah, and then it's just like, no. Which is sad because, he's going to be, eventually noticed as one of the greatest riders of all time, even though championship-wise it doesn't really add up, but statistics-wise it's ridiculous, so you have to
I don't
put
think
him
it's
somewhere.
an eventually. I mean, I think he's already...
Oh, yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, like, when you're talking down the line a little bit, like we talk about legends like Bob Hanna and, Jeff Stanton, Roger DeCoster, all these other guys back then, James Stewart's certainly going to be in that group. It's not like we're just going to be like, oh yeah, Carmichael, Villapoto, Dungey, and oh yeah, there's that one guy. Everybody called him some sort of bubblegum company or some weird thing.
Well, the weird thing about it though is I think he's the guy that's actually going to be almost impossible to actually rank.
Yeah, it's
because there's the championship side of things.
Yeah, it's certainly weird.
I had to kick Seabolt from the race. So
that's okay. Either way, coming down to the line right now, make things a little easier on you. Jesse Mullins stamps his authority on this championship and on the Forum Battle of the Week with a dominating Moto 1 victory. It is not over for second yet, though, folks. Holm looks like he has got this, but he's got to get through these last couple corners clean. He got through the second to last one all right. Coming into the last one, Lapper's in front of him, but they get over the line. And Holm takes second. Fjellberg fought him to the line. In the end, matches his number for third. This is the best ride of the year so far for Matt Burkeen. It's been kind of hit or miss all year long. Sometimes he's right around top 5 speeds. Sometimes he is nowhere near points. But tonight, a 4th place finish will do fine for the number 8 ride in Moto 1 here. His teammate, Chase Blakely, I think teammate, follows him home. And Davis fell from the clutches of that battle just a little bit, but still puts together a solid 6th place finish. Really bringing this season home strong, at least with that first Moto finish. Leclerc, he'll match his number as well and pick up a 7th. So well on his way to getting those points that he needs. 7th place will earn him 14 points. So he only needs 11 out of the next Moto, which would be, I'm trying to think, 10th place? For Zaka, it comes across 8th. Armstrong 9th, followed him into the line. St. Laurent 10th. Dago Adamo behind that comes across 11th. Ooh, Jack Haley and Brady Stanley continuing their battle, but Stanley slides it down. Fortunately, riders behind him have already finished. But Austin Eklund snuck through. Eklund's going to get 13th, Stanley 14th, Morin, Young, Copeland, Tiberino, Like, and Heckman rounding out the point scorers. We'll wait for cuts to come in, but that is where we are right now. And after cuts come in, we'll send it to a quick commercial break. Come back on the other side of that with the final moto of the season in the Ride365.com Nationals. Just waiting on dem cuts. And as is typical with MX Simulator, nobody rides after the finish. It's all just like rest my hands. Just played for 35 minutes straight.
Brady's out there shredding. Tiberino's still shredding around. There's some people riding, just not very many. Trying to figure out who has not finished.
Let's see if I can help you out.
Oh, it looks like...
Fresquez.
Oh, Tyson. 27th place.
Yeah, I wonder...
Let's give him some stream time.
Yeah, did he pull off to the side of the track or something? This is about to be a long lap time.
That would be a potential. I don't know. Probably had to take a little smoke break.
Just out for a
rip. He was
going
going out
bud?
for a rip. Maybe he had to stop by the big old Vanderhoof light bottle and take a couple pulls.
Man, where is the Vanderhoof light bottle on this track?
Right before the finish.
There it is. Up, I scrolled by it. Race brought to you by Vanderhoof Light. All right, thank you for watching 450 Moto 1. We'll be back on the other side of this quick commercial break. 450 Moto 2 coming up. RaceFactoryGaming.com would like to thank the following sponsors for their continued support. All right, and we are back, and we just missed the start of 450 Moto 2 because they took a shorter intermission than I thought.
It's Haley versus Mullins in the number 1-2 spots, and there a great start for Brady Stanley. Kevin Frizaka trying to get that podium that's been eluding him all season long. Matt Burkeen, Devin Davis, a great start.
Oh, Mullins down with the lead. Mullins got the lead and immediately crashed.
Alexis Leclerc runs in the number 9 spot, so he has passed up Mullins. Can we see a showdown this moto? Please, 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 please.
Sorry for missing the start of the last race of the year, but that is what we are watching right now. Nationals wrapping up right here. Last race at Indiana. And Haley's leading from Frizaka, Davis, Stanley, Seabolt, Fry, Armstrong, Leclerc's up here. Laurent, Morin, Park, Simos, Holm, Hoffman, Burkeen, Blakely, Wilson, Adamo, Young. All sending it up the triple, and Fresca is right behind that. Mullins still nowhere to be found. He's behind that,
He's
about 25th.
26,
yeah.
Now up to 24th. Moving forward. Interesting note, thanks to Mr. Moto Chase and Chase Donovan for filling us in. If Adam Holm gets second or wins the moto and Tyson does not score points, Adam can actually get second in this championship. So Tyson not scoring points in moto number 1. It is still possible, and of course we got Leclerc trying to earn points. We got Devin Davis in a podium spot right now early in the moto.
Interesting note about that, with Holm kind of maybe making this thing interesting championship-wise a little bit. How about Seabolt and Davis battling it out up here?
I think they're best of friends. Davis shuts the door hardcore. I think his mommy just told him to do his homework, and Devin shut the door right in her face and said, I got a sim race to win.
Well, let's see if Seabolt gets aggressive.
Being aggressive, Brady Stanley.
Yeah.
Getting aggressive behind those guys. He's going to try to take a 1-2 punch all the way to the lead.
We got a bunch of heavy hitters up here. Armstrong is up here. Leclerc's right behind these guys.
Oh, Armstrong sending it down the inside, aggressive on Stanley. He's
look
to
at
go around
4
the
riders.
All of them.
Oh, Stanley T-bones.
And Armstrong goes around 2 of them.
Who's that Stanley T-bone? Seabolt.
Jeremy Seabolt. Jeremiah Seabolt just got ninja kicked right in the grill by some Australian leg.
Now Leclerc now coming up behind that.
Tyler Fry getting it done early in this one, up inside the top 10. One of those standout Team Volcom guys that really stepped their game up this year, of course, along with Phil Bull in the 250 class.
Battle for the lead is brewing as Haley is under attack from Frizaka. They almost came alongside each other there.
If they finish like this, Davis and Frizaka would both be stoked to finally get their dang podiums out of the way. Fortunately for them, I don't think it's going to finish just like this. I have a feeling there's a lot of racing left to go.
Well, you know, you're talking about both of them wanting podiums, and I know it's frustrating Devin hasn't got one yet, but how frustrating has Frizaka had it this year? He has been 4th or 5th at least 5 or 6 times this year. Like, he has just been right on the verge.
Update on our 3-time champion. Jesse Mullins is in 34th place, 8 seconds out of 33rd, and he's kind of cruising around. So I think he maybe is debating whether he's going to try to come through the pack in this moto or just say, I'm over it.
Oh, man, it would be great content if he just went full charge, though, right now. Battle for the lead still not over yet as Armstrong is snuck into 3rd. Stanley and Leclerc all by Davis now.
Jack Haley's been great this outdoor season, in the second half especially, and I've always considered him more of a supercross guy, so really cool to see him stepping it up outdoors and putting in some great results.
Yeah, Stanley sliding around Armstrong, but that pass isn't complete just yet. Now he finally makes it stick. That first corner is so long that it just, as soon as you get stuck outside of that inside rut, there's just nowhere for you to go, and Armstrong gets shuffled back. Leclerc trying to make some move forward. He's in a spot where he will keep his number right now, just for any of you out there trying to keep tabs on that. Needs 10th or better in this moto.
Moto Chase and being our pit reporter right now. Armstrong and Haley battling for points positions as well as positions on the racetrack as they sit 1st and 3rd right now. Leclerc and Davis doing battle.
Ooh, Armstrong down. But yeah, back to that Leclerc-Davis
Oh,
battle.
Davis gets right up beside the turn at the last second. Still gets over the racetrack leap.
Jeez, that's the second time Leclerc has just thread the needle along the side of the track right there. He is not afraid.
I don't know if that's guys not giving him that much room, or if he's carrying more speed around the outside, or exactly what's going on there. But
either way, it's entertaining.
We didn't name a versus PC.com one to watch. I already know who I'm gonna pick. I just gotta find him in the field, so we'll call him out real quick here early in the moto. Let's see. Gotta go through the field. Hopefully he has not rage quit already. There he is. The Locomotive Banhammer running in the 22 spot. Peter Like always gives us crap about missing when he's doing well on stream, so we're going to give him a little stream love. Of course, he is the man with the Banhammer plan, week in and week out, executing the protests, organizing them for the RF team, and he's battling it out right now with Tyson Fresquez, and not anymore. Now he's battling to get back on his motorcycle.
Yeah, he just took a nice digger right there. This just ate a face full of this Indiana dirt. This is kind of a good thing we went back to him, because we also had a little sniff there of Dennis Fjellberg, who, if Mullins is going to keep kind of messing around, Fjellberg could finally maybe win that moto this year, but he got a horrible start this time around. We'll see how his charge goes through the field.
Battle for second is on Stanley, on for Zeka. I think Kevin gets his podium this moto. I like the way that it's shaping up for him to get it done.
Yeah, heavy player is kind of buried. Mullins looks like he may not be in it at all as Stanley dumps it at the top of the hill.
I do see lurking back there in the 6 and 7 spots. Make that moving up, because I think Stanley and William St. Laurent went down. Is Leclerc and Adam Holm, and they're lurking now in 4th and 6th. Leclerc going to go back up to 5th as St. Laurent goes shooting over the berm.
Yeah, Holm right in the mix here behind Devin Davis. So they had a little bit of a battle in that first moto. They might be going at it again here now, especially that Devin made a big mistake and loses that spot to Holm.
So does Leclerc go crazy here and try to win the moto, or does he just kind of cruise it in to be safe and make sure he keeps his number 7?
I really don't know. I mean, I kind of wonder at this point whether or not Adam Holm knows he could get second in the championship. Fresquez 17th right now, but he still has the potential to fade back as Frizaka down. Yes, heard the idling of a bike off the side of the track there.
Oh, come on, Kevin. I just said you're going to get this podium done. Now you're still right in striking distance. Leclerc a mistake, so Frizaka going to go back by him. St. Laurent also going to go by Leclerc.
Yeah, it seems like the problem with Leclerc's setup these days is, and it was a problem back then too, but it's really a problem now because these guys almost never crash, is when Leclerc has a moment, it's a big moment. Like, he doesn't save big crashes very often. So he just lost the front wheel there, and then it took it a good 3 or 4 twists and turns back to get it going again.
Without a doubt, can Adam Holm get another moto win now? He's into second. Jack Haley looking great out front. If I was a betting man, I'd bet that Jack Haley's just going to keep wheeling away with this thing. But man, Adam has been consistent and fast. Devin Davis up to 3rd for Zaka, St. Laurent, and Leclerc. Brady Stanley giving chase. They're all right together.
Yeah, Haley is trying to back up a quote-unquote fluke win that I believe he collected at Unadilla in the first moto earlier this year. So he would like to win 2 motos this year. Holm would like to win the overall or another moto if he can. No idea whether or not he knows, though, that he could get Fresquez in the championship.
I'm guessing he knows if Sally Slomo knew, but I don't know. Waiting for our pit reporter to chime in if he knows.
Back here watching this battle between St. Laurent, Leclerc, and Brady Stanley. So a Canadian, a Frenchman, and an Australian all battling it out here in the American Nationals.
Yeah, screw you, EMF. We're a world championship. Just kidding. I love those guys. Hopefully the EMF guys, I believe they're working on a Motocross of Nations event. In fact, I believe they're working along with some of the RF track builders to make something happen for that, I believe.
That would be very cool.
But
ooh, really close battle here. Stanley almost got caught up on the back of Leclerc.
an update on Jesse Mullins. He is throwing fat whips in 32nd place right now, battling out with Caden Speck and Austin Bear. So I don't think the charge through the field is going to happen today.
Kind of sad. I wanted to see it. This is a really good battle, though. All these guys just riding a little train here. Nobody's making crazy mistakes or aggressive passes, so it's all staying together.
Leclerc slides out, and there goes Brady Stanley by him.
Again, that was just, it seemed so weird,
It's
like he slid out. And
super loose. You could see it all the way down that hill.
Yeah.
Even. It just...
But you see how he like slid out and then slid forever. Like it just kept sliding and sliding. He couldn't get it corralled. So
I do believe, though, that's something that you get when Leclerc's in his groove, and I guess when he was on the top of his game playing a ridiculous amount, he probably was so in tune with the setup he could not even have that stuff happen or figure out a way to save it. But now you have to be so perfect, and I mean, he's still fast. That's why he's able to be fast. I mean, the number 7 suits him well. I'll just put it that way.
yeah, so we obviously know he put a lot of time into this particular track this week, and it shows since he was the fastest qualifier. But do you think he's even been playing that much at all outside of trying to get his 7 back?
I would think not. Just the fact that I think if he had been, he would have been racing with us. He has no reason not to race. You know, he was a long-time guy that showed up and raced, and I mean, shoot, we're more than happy to have him. Like I said, I'm very, very excited to have Alexis Leclerc back racing with us because, damn, he's exciting. He does things on tracks. I mean, honestly, as a track creator, I hate having him around because he does stuff to my tracks that are not supposed to be possible. Like, you know, you try to make a triple in hard, and he somehow finds a way to quad it in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds like him. Yeah, I'm trying to watch something different, but this battle between him and Frizaka kind of closing on Stanley a little bit up there, and it's really the one to watch.
Far off the leaders, honestly.
Yeah.
Haley's got a 4-second gap. Holm has got a 5-second gap back to Davis. Then St. Laurent and Stanley, of course, right on him. Leclerc and Frizaka right there. I mean, it's everything is right in front of these guys.
Fresquez is still in 15th, so the update on the possibility of Holm passing Fresquez in the points looks to be not quite where it needs to be yet in Holm's situation.
But, I mean, Holm is doing what he needs to do up here in the 2 spot. That 1 spot obviously would make it even better.
Man, Frizaka has just been all over Leclerc for almost 2 laps here. Now Leclerc going around the outside. Will he triple pass Stanley? Well, Stanley's going to get the triple from the inside, so no, he won't. Frizaka's changing up his line. 3 different options through that corner. That'll work out pretty evenly.
Now, I know Tyson was talking in chat, and then I did actually say in chat about the second and the points thing. I'm guessing Adam probably read that as well, but in the in-game chat, and I believe Tyson probably is aware as well. I would think that somebody on their squads had read it. I forgot about that going on here prior to the Moto.
Well, Tyson is pretty clearly winning the Grand National Championship too, right?
Yes.
So
yeah.
He probably in his mind would just like to say like, yeah, he didn't win the outdoor championship, but finished first in Supercross, second outdoors. It's a pretty dang good season.
Again, the Grand National Championship Like, Mullins isn't even in the ballpark because of not racing so many Supercross. It's not like he didn't do even well in Supercross. He just didn't race.
Yeah, well,
A
Colton
lot of
Mitchell's
them.
second, right? It's Fresquez, Mitchell, and then one more person, I think, and then Mullins. I'd have to look at it again, but you're right about that. Missing Supercross didn't help Mullins' case. Goodness gracious, this battle is ridiculous. They're now lapping Hoffman, St. Laurent, and Stanley still locked together, and they just lapped Mullins, too. I see the number 1 in there. Kind of is weird to not see him in this battle, but he's there.
Hey, the last moto of the year that we're halfway through. Let's give it up, and we're giving this top 10 rundown to the fine folks at Race Tech Suspension and Engines for the final time. Leading the way, Relaxa tire number 26, it's Jack Haley. On the number 192 Arch Attack ride, running around in the number 2 spot, the sensational outbreak ride of the year, it's Adam Holm. Holy crap. Oh, I almost commentators cursed him. Did I, though? No, he's out of the podium spot. So now we're going to go up to third. It's the Deuce System decal rider of Brady Stanley. Holy crap, great ride going for Mad Cape rider William St. Laurent, running in the number 4 spot. It's Big Daddy Devin Davis, ride for DX3, thanks for hosting RF. Getting it done in the 5th spot. I think he's getting a podium. If Verzaka doesn't do it, Davis does. One of them's getting their podium tonight or right now. Last moto of the year, they're going to be an Iron Man at Iron Man. Oh, yeah. Oh, we're about to see some huge switcherooskies. I think I saw Mullins actually kind of waiting to battle it out with Leclerc as he went to tumble there. But anyways, up to the number 6 spot, riding for Motorsport Hillsboro on the number 61. It's Kevin from Zaka. The numero 7, running in 7th, Alexis Straight Air Leclerc. Hammering down in the number 8 ride, 3 overall wins on the year. BPC rider, number 20, Chase Blakely. It is the BTC of 2017, Matt Burkeen. Tiger Designs Big Send official, running in the number 9 spot aboard the number 8. Holy crap. Tyson just bettered his qualifying time by a couple of seconds. He was a 2:01 qualifying time. He's running in the number 10 spot, battling out with D. Cope, just gets past. The Dylan Copeland passes Tyson Fresquez. How many times have you ever heard that? But Fresquez had moved to the 10 spot. Now he's in 11th. And that has been your Race Tech Top 10 rundown for the final time in 2017.
What do you mean, D. Cope and Fresquez? That seems like a classic battle right there.
Yeah.
So what did Fresquez run? You never talked about it. 159.9.
159.9. And like I said, he qualified with a freaking 2:01. So getting a little more comfy on the track. Where is Holm? Holm is running in the number 2 spot. He needs to get a little team tactics going on if he wants second in the series, but Holm is about to go after the number 1 spot. He is less than 2 seconds off your leader, and they're about to come around. Let's check the lap times. 2:03 for Haley, 2:03 for Holm. Adam Holm laying her down right now, along with Haley. William St. Laurent up into 3rd. Now, would it be something if St. Laurent grabbed a podium before Verzaka or Davis?
No kidding, especially...
Mullins is totally following Leclerc around the racetrack right now, by the way. He is latched in behind him. We're seeing that battle just... Well, one of them's a lap down.
Yeah, he's right behind a battle on the track, and hopefully he doesn't really interfere with it.
Yeah, especially with Davis in there. We'll never hear the end of it.
Verzaka, Davis chasing Leclerc, but they're all right in front of Mullins. It was clearly the fastest guy in the first moto, so he has the speed to run with these guys.
Get the forum post ready now for Mullins racing Davis as a lapper.
We saw this week that there's a whole separate post made about Kyle Robb getting indefinitely suspended, and Devin Davis didn't even see it before exploding about biasisms on the forums.
Yeah. Yep. But at the same point, all that crap is just crap. We have a battle for the lead that I don't want to miss right now. So
All that crap
I'll
is just
hold my
crap.
thought on Davis, but I seriously want him or Furzaka to get their podium here. I would be 100% happy for Davis. Again, he puts so much time and dedication. I mean, Devin Davis himself was... We didn't even know how the championship was shaping up until this week if it wouldn't be for Devin Davis's awesome columns that he writes over on mxsimulator.com. So
but you just talked in there earlier in the night about how there's no real hiccups in the Nationals, which I assume you meant we hadn't messed up so bad that we missed a race or anything.
Well,
like
that's what I mean. The races ran on time, on schedule. They didn't have to delay a week because the track wasn't done or
turns out
DDoS situations.
The only real hiccups are the servers like crashing mid-moto so they don't save results.
Yeah, this battle for the lead, Adam Holm is all over. Put a 2:02.2, his fastest lap of the race together to pull up alongside Jack Haley. Hasn't quite got it done yet. And man, these guys are both running fast and consistent. Holm going to try a huge outside line there, adding an extra 100 yards to the racetrack.
But somehow it worked out pretty good. Like, that line hasn't worked all night, and he made it work.
Wow, William St. Laurent still comfortable in third as we watch this battle for the lead.
Trying to think. I know Holm has won a race this year. How many has he won? Like three? 3 motos? 2-3 motos?
No, he won one.
He's only won 1 moto, so we're watching a battle between 2 guys that have both won a moto this year.
Now, Holm should have won multiple. He threw away, I think, 2 or
Haley's
3 for sure on the last lap.
Haley got really ruined by Tyler Morin right there, and that allows Holm through. Nowhere to go for Haley. I mean, I guess he chose the wrong line. He could have stayed outside, but Morin checked up, went inside, and then dogged the inside rut, held up Haley, and Holm in the end gets an easy pass.
But Holm right now, yeah, he has a chance not just to win a moto, but an overall. So that would be huge. I don't think in his situation that anyone thinks it's a fluke because, again, he led multiple races down to the last lap before getting passed.
Right. I would not say Haley's was a fluke either. He just straight up won that moto, and he's been
Haley's been
all
great
long.
all year as well. So yeah, for sure. And pit reporter Mr. Donovan checks in. It'll be for the top 5 in standings that Haley will pass Armstrong, and I don't believe that'll matter in terms of prizes, maybe prize amount, but that's it. But Haley makes a mistake, falls down. Still, 5th sounds a lot better than 6th in points, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah. And here's St. Laurent just chugging along, looking at a podium. The never-ending Leclerc-Kevin Furzaka battle. Such a real classic one right here. Continues.
Wouldn't it be something if St. Laurent just pulls off the podium before either Davis or Furzaka? It'd just blow me away. Great performance going on right now from St. Laurent.
23.5 minutes into this moto. So we're slowly creeping up on the end of the season here real quick. And Leclerc
creeping up is Brady Stanley right now. All over St. Laurent, trying to spoil the podium party. Furzaka and Leclerc right there as well. The freight train over Godzilla.
Oh, and Stanley loses the front end. Furzaka through, Leclerc through, Davis is going to go through. Mullins a lap down is trying to go through.
Oh man, I could just see it right now. Furzaka and Davis just see that podium spot right there, and they're just like, get there.
That was Leclerc down, so him and Mullins. We get to see the battle. So does Mullins adhere to the blue flag here?
No, absolutely not. Or he might pull over just to let him go by and then jumps in right on the back wheel of him.
Oof. That jump is nerve-wracking from my point of view because they're just looking at it straight on, these guys crossing lines.
And there's definitely no love between these two, right?
Not much. Especially with that whole forum thing this week, fueling the fire. Jesse wanting to prove himself, and
I put a 55-gallon drum of VP on top of it by saying I wanted to see the fastest rider in the world race or something along those lines on purpose.
I might make Mullins a tad mad here, but technically speaking, Leclerc is at the moment going to leave with more points tonight than Mullins will. It's just the truth.
Well, I'm sitting here at 17,000 offset, so you're going to have to commentate the race here for a minute, Kellen.
No problem. We got a great Stanley-Devin Davis battle going on, and it's about to get onto the rear sphincter of Kevin Frizaka. Now it's going past Kevin Frizaka like a freight train. He just made a small mistake. So Davis through, Stanley through, Frizaka stuck battling with Leclerc again. Yeah, Leclerc's suspension must still be a little bit kind of janky because there's some sections of the track where these guys are sending it to flat and Leclerc just can't do it. He has to check up and single those jumps. So it's kind of strange. Let's try and go around the outside of Frizaka and stay a little lower. Oh, rider down. Oh, is that? No. Oh, that freaked me out for a second. I thought that was St. Laurent. There's his teammate, though. Must have been Cameron Lee, maybe, on the deck. Yeah, it's still
Cameron Lee not having a great race, that's for sure. Moto 1, I don't even think he scored points.
How about this? We got Frizaka and Davis with Stanley and Leclerc mixed in, and they're not too far behind Mr. St. Laurent at this point. So it's all
2-second gap.
It's all up in the air.
Davis has the lap times to go on by. He's been running 2:02s. St. Laurent was in the 2:03.9 fast lap and 2:06 last time around. So Davis definitely has the pace. But he's got to worry about Stanley, Leclerc, and Frizaka from behind. But St. Laurent been Mr. Consistent thus far, and we're late in the moto at this point. If you make a mistake now, there might not be time to recover from that mistake. 2:02.4 for Stanley, 2:01.7 from Leclerc. They are laying heaters down. 2:02.1 for Davis. They all just ran their fastest lap of the race that last time around. All three of those guys freight training behind Davis. Stanley looking for an opening. I mean, these guys are best friends, so I expect them to be extremely clean with each other.
This is quite the mix of non-friendlies right here. And did you see Leclerc scrub that single after the finish line? I mean, he dragged some bar. That's all I'm going to say about it.
All right, watching him up here over the Godzilla jump.
Davis a little long, Stanley a little short.
Rider down, I believe that was a lapper.
Almost
Davis going to end.
Jeez! Oh my goodness.
He's going to tuck in behind there, a lapper. I believe that's the locomotive.
Oh, Davis a mistake. He's not going to be able to get the triple. He doubles Leclerc, also triples, and gets by. Oh, Davis almost sent it into him. Oh,
Davis passes Leclerc.
And all this.
Leclerc! Davis goes for the kill.
Oh, man. Davis squared him up and put him down.
From Devin Davis right there. I mean, Leclerc's move was risky. Probably pissed Devin off a little. He saw an opening, didn't even think about it, just went for it. Now he's going to try to go around. I believe that's the locomotive. Now he's going around the outside on Stanley. Devin Davis sees that podium. He wants it.
Oh, he is scrubbing down the triple. Yeah, you're not kidding about that. 29 minutes coming up in, and Holm just crossed the line, so 3 laps to go coming up. Davis needs to get Stanley out of the way if he wants to go after St. Laurent, though.
I think they're catching him anyways. So he can catch him together. He's just got to be careful around Brady with his lag as well. As Brady not scared to get aggressive for a spot. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
this is awesome racing.
That was one of the...
Devin looks poised. Like, he doesn't look nervous either. He looks like he is charging, not at all playing it conservative.
Devin's move on Leclerc, it was dirty, but it was kind of warranted, I would say.
I don't even think it was dirty. I think it was just an amazing racing move, to be honest with you. He's going to go around the nose. Stanley recovery. Yeah. Nice recovery. I mean, the fact that he had the sense in mind to be able to, oh, wow, there's an opening. I'm going for it.
Right. Well, that's what I was going to say is that, I mean, how many times have we seen those, like, gotta send it? Oh, my goodness. Those situations.
Devin, I thought being extra careful because of the lag there. I'm guessing that's what he was doing.
Yeah, I think so. But how many times have we seen those situations for Devin just not work out whatsoever?
Oh, man, everything that can happen right now bad is happening to him. Nothing at his fault. Stanley cases the Godzilla step up. Devin has to wait for him and his leg to get through the corner. Then a rider down in the rut there in the bottom of the hill that you couldn't see until he was on top of him. Just losing all kinds of time. And the benefactor right now, William St. Laurent, who did run his fastest lap of the race at 2:03.8 last time around, has got a little bit of a gap over Stanley, who's not being pushed by Davis at the moment.
Yeah,
but yes, I have seen those things go completely bad for Davis. Yes. And that's what I'm saying, though. He doesn't look nervous. He looks very just focused, dialed in right now. Again, even the move with Stanley of being able to just say, hey, I'm going to wait here real quick and not get tangled with his leg. It seems like he's focused, dialed in.
I don't know. This looks like St. Laurent is just kind of doing his own thing and oblivious to the fact that all
Davis
that just
is on the ground.
Oh, no. Verzaka might get by. Blakely's trying to come with him. I just took a peek back real quick, and Fresquez just crashed again. Otherwise, Leclerc was kind of in danger of falling back to 10th, and that was his bubble zone for keeping his number.
Yeah, but he had, what, 7th or 6th in the first moto, so
he finished 7th. He finished 7th, so he needed 10th or better to get the 25 points.
He's got a pretty good chance of making that happen right now.
Yeah. Well, it looked like for a moment there he was going to maybe fall to 10th. And, I mean, like, if he crashes a couple more times now, Armstrong is 10th. And he's 10 seconds behind Burkeen, who's, I guess, 5-ish seconds behind Leclerc. And then there's 2 guys right behind that. So, I mean, just kind of national number watching, I guess, while all this is going on.
Now, one of the guys back there, actually, is 12th place rider Tyson Fresquez, who's trying to come forward, so that could cause some issues if things were to completely come around. And Leclerc is down and off the bike, getting back on the track. So I was just saying they could come unraveled, but they have to get pretty gnarly. Oh,
well, it's not the last lap yet. He's still got 2 laps to go. Burkeen is 9th and trying to pass him right now. Armstrong 10th, Reed Young 11th, Fresquez 12th. I mean, if he falls back to Fresquez's range, he doesn't keep the 7. That's all I'm trying to get across here, and he's only a corner and a half ahead of him.
All right, at the front, Adam Holm has gone across the line. That's the white flag flying, right? Could be.
Yes, it is. White flag.
Last lap of the year, Kevin. Can't hold anything back now. Adam Holm not holding anything back. Going to collect his 2nd moto win of his career. And his first ever overall, if he can get through this last lap clean. 12-second lead back to Jack Haley. Then it is William St. Laurent. Wow. Brady Stanley not far off. Devin Davis hoping Stanley catches him, puts them both on the ground, and gives him a shot. I think Davis going to be happy with this race regardless. Great performance out of the 45 machine.
Yeah, but that's, I mean, I would be happy, but Devin likes a little bit more.
I tell you what, though, there's been multiple times that we've seen him put in these rides this year where maybe the result wasn't as good as the ride, you know, things came apart late in the race or something like that. And he has said, like, he's been happy because the riding was great. And, I mean, a 5th is a great finish for Davis.
Yep, exactly. That's what I'm kind of saying, you know, like...
I feel like he's the 3rd best guy at the front of the field right now. He just... a couple of mistakes. I mean, he was reeling in St. Laurent, and he was battling with Stanley, and I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if he would have pulled off a third here, and it's not over. Like I said, it could still happen.
Well, this final round has been anything but normal, and out of the non-normalcy, a bit of normalcy from the man that has been the breakthrough ride of the year. A 2-1 performance on the day. Adam Holm is your winner in the 450 class at Indiana, and we are going to wait and see whether or not that affects the points enough to change his way. We need Fresquez to finish, I think what Chase said was 19th or worse, and that's looking like it's not going to happen, but you never know. Guess not now that 17th is finished, but you never know.
Haley is across. William St. Laurent Madcape on the podium in the final moto of the year. Crashing right before the line is Stanley. Here comes Devin Davis.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't know if you get going straight or have to turn around. That was the question.
Right.
Stanley's across. Devin Davis, great ride in the top 5. Chase Blakely, also a nice performance this season, comes around in 6th. How about Kevin Frizaka? Never got that podium done, but a hell of a year for the number 61. Now riding for Motorsport Hillsboro. Of course, team switch. Quick disconnect before he even lands off the finish. Burkeen actually.
And Leclerc keeps number 7 by 1 point. He earned 26 points. Oh, Armstrong gets cleaned by a lapper. Who is that? That's a 2-digit number. Oh no, 144 Caden Speck. Dago Damo. Kind of a just normal 10th-ish, 11-ish day. Reed Young gets 12th. Fiober, that's a nice charge to 13th, to be fair. He was having a moto there for a moment. Cameron Lee cruising this thing on home. Fresquez is down, but Copeland is Copeland's just down. But yeah, Fresquez is locked up second in the championship by virtue of the fact of Sanders has already finished the race in 17th. So Fresquez kind of just cruising. Looks like at this point the difference is going to be 3 points. Could be wrong. Fresquez finishing 16th here, or I'm sorry, 15th. Fresquez and Ethan Parks doing some nose wheelies and wheelies to the finish line here. A little show. And Dylan Copeland will be the last guy to bring it through. So, any final thoughts this year, Chris, that you'd like to add?
I would, now that this has actually been a semi-professional stream, like to thank all of our sponsors. So if you're gonna give me a minute and you're gonna talk for a minute, so I can actually pull up the list, so I don't forget anyone.
Yeah, no problem.
If we can make that happen.
Copeland comes across the line. Like scores a point. Mullins got Seabolt for 21st, but that doesn't matter. Anything else change? Leclerc got 8th, so he actually got 27 points. Burkeen dropped a spot. And Holm goes 2-1 to win the overall at Indiana.
Absolutely, and I'd like to thank everyone that signed up, tuned into a broadcast, supported the race season in any way possible. Everyone at Race Factory Gaming and the whole entire staff. We have a lot of people that help week in and week out to make these races come. And then, of course, to our fine sponsors, Ride365.com versus PC Nationals. It's been a hell of a year. Moto Option Clothing, Tagger Designs, Race Tech, FamiMex, Bentley Graphics, the fine folks at SYS TV for bringing the action week in and week out, Moto Chasin, ReadMeta.com, MX Simulator, thank you, JLV. The next time you see us RF racing, the dirt's going to be moving, baby. A road time, thanks, JLV. And, of course, Michael Wheeler, Two Wheelers Graphics, Stephen Barrington, JGMX, Kyle Watts, Race Carlin, Kyle Robb. Who else made tracks? I'm forgetting someone for sure. Blake Scheinman for Supercross. Thank you, everyone. I really, really appreciate it. If I forgot you, it's not because I don't love you. It's been a hell of a year. I'm ready for some awesome off-season racing, and I hope to see you guys around.
All right, well, that is all for us this year at SYS TV. We can't thank you guys enough for joining us and all of our fantastic sponsors that Chris just listed off for providing an absolutely thrilling season that could not have happened any better. And we just want to thank everyone for tuning in. We hope to see you guys soon in our future videos, maybe other live streams that we do, etc. But that's a wrap on 2017 Race Factor Gaming Supercross and Nationals. From Kellen Brauer and Chris Riesenberg and everybody here at Start Your Systems, one final thank you, and we'll see you guys in 2018.